iMAXX podcast.
From the day you arrived, I stand.
And this is top left.
You're gonna get better, Felix. You are.
Bleeding in my head, start to elevate, take the pain away, now I feel okay. Bleeding in my head, start to elevate, take the pain away, now I feel okay. Bleeding in my head, start to elevate, take the pain away, now I feel okay. Bleeding in my head, start to elevate, take the pain away, now I feel okay. Every day's the same, brain went insane, waiting to detonate, everything obliviate, demons want me dead, screaming in my brain, on the verge of death, get the fuck away, burning in the flames, blood down the drain, crying in the rain, cannot find a word, waiting to decay, there's a better day, ain't no fight the way, everything's okay. Bleeding in my head, start to elevate, take the pain away, now I feel okay. Bleeding in my head, start to elevate, take the pain away, now I feel okay. Bleeding in my head, start to elevate, take the pain away, now I feel okay. Bleeding in my head, start to elevate, take the pain away, now I feel okay.
All right, what was the name of that song?
That song's called Detonate.
And how can people find that song?
Music video shot by DMR. It's on YouTube. It's called Free GLiTCH Detonate official music video.
I'll get a little link on there. So, with that being said, welcome to the iMAXX podcast here for episode number 9 featuring
Free GLiTCH.
and Freed GLiTCH also just got off of the Coulda Been House season 2, and we're going to dive into that a little bit. So my first question is, how did you end up making it on the show? Where did you audition? How did you find out about the audition, and how did you get that going?
Yo, what's up, man? Hey, shout out Druski, shout out iMAXX, man. Shout out everybody out there supporting the scene. So it's a funny story, man. Druski, I ain't know much about the man, but he hit me up on Instagram. But what's funny is that he followed me twice and unfollowed me twice, and he hit up my homeboys and was asking for my number, but he never directly messaged me. He hit up my homeboy Fiend, Low Complex. I think he hit up some other people like DMR. But I ended up getting in contact with their production team, and we went from there. I didn't really audition. I was found, I think I was chosen, it's my destiny to, be something greater than I was supposed to be, but he just found me, no audition. I just got a text one day that said that I'm going to Miami, Florida. They got my ticket. And, I just risk my life. I signed an NDA, I signed some paperwork. I'm under contract still to this day. And, that's how it kind of went about, man. Druski kind of reached out to me through Instagram.
So do you know how he found you or anything like that, or just kind of luck of the draw?
I have no clue how Druski found me. Like I said, I was just like radiating a lot of energy at the time, I was going to the open mics, putting out content, doing shows, and getting my face seen around that last year, 2024, Free GLiTCH. I was just, putting all my energy into manifesting, something greater, So I just put a lot of energy into my music, and I think just one day my antenna or my radio kind of signaled out, and it reached Druski, and he just connected with me. He saw something, he saw my heart, he saw something in me, and he chose me to be on his show, man. And I'm very grateful for that. Shout out Druski, check it out, Coulda Been House season 2, and yes, there will be a reunion.
What episode are they on right now?
They're currently on episode 4. It comes out this Thursday, 9 p.m. YouTube Druski, and the first thing is gonna be Coulda Been House. And yeah, man, I'm grateful to meet Lil Yachty. I met Ray J, I met Nav, I met Druski, and they're all really cool people, man. Shout out Mental Health. shout out Yachty for checking on me, and shout out Druski for giving me the opportunity. At the end of the day, you know, he was cool, and he said that the last thing Druski said to me was, "You're gonna be alright, bro." You're gonna be alright. I was like, "Thank you, bro." You know what I'm saying? So that meant a lot to me.
Yeah. So kind of when you're watching the show and it seems like they send you off, what really happens behind there?
Yeah.
Like, is it, I know they kind of pan right into another scene of you getting on the bus, but is there more of a trade-off there? Or are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, so I can say one thing, nothing scripted. Everything that you see really happened, you know, it was just improv, and I can't say much about it, but yeah, I did go on the public transportation, but it's all good. You'll see me back at the reunion. It's going to be shot sometime next month, and it'll be out soon after the show too. But yeah.
When can we expect to see that episode? Do you have a rough date on that yet?
Yeah, coming out in the next month or so September, October. That episode will be back. Coulda Been House season 2 reunion.
And I'm sure that'll
coming
be
soon, baby.
I'm sure that'll be right after the season's over.
season
Like right after
ending.
that. That'd be cool. So when you first got that text from Druski, like I know you were talking about you felt like you had your antenna pointed in the right direction and all that energy going out. What was your first reactions once you actually got that text from him, and like how did that make you kind of think of the antenna and how your energy gets dispersed and how it gets transmitted? What were you thinking in that moment?
Yeah, bro. I couldn't believe it at first. You know, it's still surreal to this day. You know, but like you said, you know, I put out the energy, and you know, everything kind of worked out. You know, I think everything happens for a reason. And you know, myself, I suffer from a lot of mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and I was kind of in a bad spot at the moment of recording. You know, you can see it in the episode when I'm rapping. I'll talk about suicidal thoughts, but all that is real. You know, that's what I was going through at the time. But you know, ever since the show dropped, you know, a lot of people have been giving me a lot of hope, motivation, and that keeps me going. You know, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity and thankful that I was chosen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So going into the show, did you have like a game plan, what character you were going to try to play, or any kind of like mindset going into the show?
Yeah, so I always believe to stay true to myself, you know, in that sense that I do have social anxiety and I hate socializing, you know. I'm just very antisocial, you know, and, you know, I don't have many friends in real life. And, you know, so going to the show, you know, I was like, I have to protect my energy, you know. I had a lot of anxiety, I had a lot of shit going on, and it was just a lot to take in, you know, all that energy from different people you don't know, and, you know, just fucking no sleep, and it just kind of builds up during the time. And like I said, I was going in with a bad mindset, you know, but I was just trying to spread my message, which was mental health awareness. You know, they didn't air that much, but throughout the whole show, I was very humble and, you know, just try to help people. But, you know, they wanted us to crash out at the end of the day. And if I would have stayed one more day, I probably would have crashed out on somebody. I ain't going to lie, bro. Like, fights, like you saw that night. Frank Nito was going crazy, man.
Yeah, I've noticed, like, I've seen your message actually at, like, open mics in Asheville. Did. You were part of that competition last year at the Yard with Gang Beef Entertainment, and I saw you over there.
Yeah.
But I'd like to hop into some of that, like how you use that to help your mental health with the music. We'll hop into that a little later,
Sure.
If that's cool with you.
Yeah, for sure.
But so your game plan going in was just to get that message out.
Yeah, kind of just be myself, you know, and, you know, wild out when I could. You know, in the beginning, you know, they had that that T-Pain song, "We in the club like ooh." Ooh. And, you know, I had to start humping the floor. And, you know, it worked. Hey, Druski was like, and then we got the master bedroom, yo. And to the people who want to know, yes, I did sleep in a big-ass bed, but I was in my corner. I was in the bottom right, all right? And it did smell like shit. I ain't going to lie.
So what was it like that first day that you actually show up in? It was Miami, Florida, right?
Yeah, so they flew me out to Fort Lauderdale. You know, production team picked me up on a bus, and, you know, I spent the night at the hotel. I met some homies, you know, White Goose, Sticky, you know, we chilled, and a couple other people. And, you know, it was just a great experience. You know, the first day I met everybody. I did not know what the fuck was going on. It was just so new. I saw Bono Slim. I saw Honey Bands. I saw Kiki Marie. Everybody was their own character. Like, everybody was very unique. And there was just energy dispersion everywhere, like electrons and shit. But, yeah, it was very surreal. You know, everybody's going to competition. Everybody's trying to clown each other. And I met Nav first. And he was really supportive, you know what I'm saying? He hyped me up to go up to Druski. You know, I didn't know if I was going to make it because I had an audition in Miami at the mansion. You know, I could have got sent home that night. You know, people got sent home that night. But, yeah, Nav hyped me up. He was like, yeah, man, I want to see your energy. You know, I fuck with Greenville, you know. And Druski, you know, I told him my message. And after I told him the mental health awareness, you know, he started clapping for me. And I thought that was really cool, man. And yeah, and then I just freestyled, and he fucked with my stuff. He was like, yeah, I'll see you in the back, man. Because I told him that I would die for Coulda Been Records. So I was like, man, I'll die for this shit, man. And he fucked with that. He was like, yeah, all right, I'm going to talk to you in the back. I was like, yeah.
We'll have to find that. Was that the one when you're out on, like, he's sitting in the back?
Pool.
Yeah, at the pool. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff that got deleted. But I freestyled, you know, I was like, fuck the devil, I got my angels. And he was like, whoa, fuck the devil. And, like, it was just kind of behind the scenes type shit, you know, that didn't get aired, but it was all dope.
Oh, so that was the first time you actually got to meet Druski?
Yeah, that was the first time.
On the stage.
I met him on the stage, bro. I had a greedy onto the stage. I ain't gonna lie. I did greedy onto the stage.
You got that. Shit. Are you pulling that up? Oh, you're good. You're gonna pull it up. I can always cut out any of the dead time. I don't pay for YouTube Premium, so we get stuck with the ads sometimes. We are trying to get stuff going with the episode at the same time.
Yeah.
I think he's at minute 21-ish. I think it's minute 21 was when you're in the studio.
Yeah.
Roughly. Somewhere around there. I tried a little bit more on this one.
Yeah, after this, dude.
So while we're pulling that up, you're in the studio. You're going into the studio, and this is episode 3 of season 2.
Episode 3 industry. Yeah.
And so is this the first time you're getting to see Little Yachty when you're going into the studio?
We did not know who was the celebrity guest. You know, it was a surprise. We knew we was going to the studio. You know, he gave us the Coulda Been handbooks, and you know, I had my written lyrics in there that I spit.
Yo, thoughts of suicide screaming in my mind. Yo, the devil in the fucking head.
Hey, hold up now. I know my Jesus.
Hey, I fucked up right there. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I
pulling
fucked
that.
up right
Seriously,
there.
guys.
I choked.
Everybody, you know, we can cut the cameras if we want, but like, are you suicidal, man?
Nah. Not right now.
I should probably check on him and his well-being throughout
Hey,
the
Yachty's
show.
cool as fuck, man. Shout out Yachty, bro, for real.
Suicidal thoughts
Hey,
in my
Yachty, I
head.
think Yachty was genuinely concerned for
All
my
right,
mental
thank
health,
you, man.
bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
And like, I found out later that I actually got eliminated because they thought I was gonna self-harm, which I'm not. I am not an advocate for that. I'm an advocate for mental health awareness. You know, trying to help people. You know,
I think
but
that,
yeah.
like with the music, I think that does help. I have, like, if you listen to some of my lyrics and some of the songs I put out, I struggle with that a little bit. But
Yeah,
I always like having that space to go to.
Yeah,
You turn the lights off in your room, you just got the beat playing in the
Yeah, you
song,
go
and you
to
can let
another
all that
universe.
stuff that's building up in your head,
Yeah.
and you can just let that all come out.
Yeah,
Even
of
if you don't put the
course.
songs out, like you
It's-
can get
it's
all that.
therapy, you know.
That's
It's
what
just
kind of
like healing.
it's
Yeah.
helped me stay making music over time, just
Yeah, of
because
course.
I can always tell whenever I haven't made music lately because my head, everything's running 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm in a bad spot, and then I hop in that microphone, and everything just.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's like going to the gym and getting all that stress off your body. You're getting
Yeah,
all
of
that stress
course.
out of your mind.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I see it too, man.
So were you allowed to bring anything that you were working on previously into the show, or was it all like this is all scratch? Because I know they gave y'all notebooks. Like, were you allowed to still use your phone any, or did you have to kind of keep everything you were writing in the notebooks? Or
Yeah, all right. So when we started production and the cameras were rolling, we weren't allowed to use our phones. They actually took our phones away, and we were just like in there with our belongings. You know, they took the laptops away. We didn't have any social media, so it's all real, you know. But yeah, so they gave us the pen and they gave us the notebook, and that's our only form. And me, I started from scratch. You know, I just wrote whatever was on my mind and shit like that.
So I think it was episode 1 where they had the boot camp and they
Yeah.
came and yelled and woke y'all up at like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. So
Yeah.
that was real. Like y'all were really going
Yeah.
to sleep, and then they have like sergeants come in and just
Yeah.
banging and making all the noise.
Yeah, everything's real, man. Like, so we did our audition, and then they eliminated whoever they wanted to eliminate, and then Druski was like, "Yeah, y'all staying on the property," so we was like, "All right, the property," and then like, oh man, that shit was fucked. That shit was messed up, bro. We was on the floor in the sleeping bags, you know, and some people were sitting on the chair, you know, there wasn't no sleeping bags. But there was a spider on me, but all that was real, man. I was like next to White Goose Sticky in the corner, and like there was the spider, and I hate bugs. And then the crocodile was real as well. Like I looked outside, bro, and there was a whole crocodile out there, bro, like real life crocodile. And the security dude was actually like, "Hey man, is this a prank?" Like he was scared too, bro. So like we didn't know what was going on, bro. Like I could have died out there, but I did sign a contract that said they were not responsible for that.
Oh.
So I did sign my life away, but I loved it. I loved every minute of it, bro. I love chaos. Yeah. I was like walking through death right there.
So going into the show, what did you have any previous experiences with like that level of entertainment, or was that like your first experience with like all the real cameras, microphones, studio, and all that?
Yes. So shout out to Game Beef Entertainment for starting the hip hop open mic at the Odd originally. Ever since the creation of that, I've attended religiously every week. Shout out to Robert Harney, ACG, EV, all them boys in Game Beef Entertainment. You know, they made who Free GLiTCH today. You know, because when I first started performing, you know, I did really bad because of my social anxiety. You know, I was kind of just speaking low, not really speaking clear. My voice was really shaky, and going through the open mic every night, every week, it gave me a platform, and it gave me more confidence. People were coming up to me saying that I progress every time they see me, and that really kept me going, you know. And shout out Asheville for all the love they've always given me, all the people that's came up to me and show me any kind of support. You know, I really appreciate it. To this day, it carries with me in my heart. But yeah, that's the only experience I had. Like I said, I feel like an underdog going up there. Everybody's kind of like had a big following, while me, just another Mexican kid from Greenville, South Carolina, with immigrant parents, you know, coming from nothing. I grew up in poverty, and you know, they just gave me an opportunity. You know, Druski found me somehow in some way, you know, but I think everything happens for a reason, you know, and I'm gonna use this to a bigger image and you know, just kind of catapult myself out there.
So kind of staying on that subject, how did you find Gang Beef Entertainment, and when did you start doing their open mics?
Yeah, so it started out a couple years ago, I believe 2023. I had just dropped my first tape called Black Angel Wings. You can check it out on Spotify and YouTube. I got the Black Angel Wings official music video out too.
And you can find you at Freed GLiTCH.
Yeah, it's FREED. GLiTCH, GLiTCH. And I got that name because originally I was Anomaly the Glitch, and on Spotify, you know, it was kind of hard to spell, so I was like, you know, I want to escape the matrix, you know, I want to be the glitch, so I was like Freed GLiTCH, so that's how I kind of got that name. Yeah.
Actually, one of the videos that helped me with it was called Break Free from the Matrix, and there was a glitch in the Matrix. By Jordan Peterson, and that helped me reshape my whole mindset.
Nice.
If you're into that kind of stuff, he's a psychologist that does a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
But yeah, that was 2019 whenever I found that video. But it said something about there's a glitch in the Matrix or break free from the Matrix. I don't remember. I can put that link up too.
Yeah, for sure. Bro.
So you find Gang Beef Entertainment, you start going to open mics, and that helps open you up to kind of freeing yourself from some of that social anxiety.
Yes.
I have a little bit of a similar, one thing I've been trying to do the last couple of years is every year I'm trying to do something that completely puts me out of my comfort zone. Like 2023, I was like, I'm going to start being serious about putting my music out. Like, because there's people laughing or people making fun of you, whatever. I don't care. I'm just going to actually put the music out.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
2024 comes, and V-Flow invites me to an open mic, and that was the first time I really ever performed. And then I realized, like, every time you get way out of your comfort zone, you get a lot more confidence, and you can start to, like, expand yourself as a person. And then this year, I was like, I'm going to start a podcast because I'm terrible at meeting somebody for the first time and then striking up a conversation. So, like, doing the podcast has helped me just help elevate myself to be able to talk to just anybody because, like, this is, like, the first time we've really ever sat down and talked.
Yeah.
And I think that's good to always have something like you going to the show and getting your mind open up or going to the open mics and getting in front of people, showing your art. I feel like anybody could do that in any kind of way of their life to help in those spots, like where you have a lot of social anxiety. Just break free out of your comfort zone and do something new every year and stop getting in those same rhythms that keep wanting to hold you down, and just do something. And if you jump and you fail, so be it. But I don't know. I love trying to get out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, of course. Sure. You always gotta get risk to get a reward, and that's kind of like one of the things. I was really nervous going up there, and my voice was shaky, but I kind of gave myself hope because of my message that I wanted to spread, which was the mental health awareness and that you're not alone, and that gave me strength. And people actually came up to me and told me that my set helped them out, and that they appreciate it, and that they love me, and that really helped me out. And I met long-term friends there and family that always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah. So with that being said, what was your favorite moment from the show?
My all-time favorite moment is probably Halloween, 2023. I had just dropped Black Angel Wings, and it was kind of like a dark emo rap vibe. So Halloween, the odd open mic, it was packed, super packed. Maybe close to 50, maybe plus people. And, everybody was doing their thing. And I remember that night I brought my Black Angel Wings with me, and I just performed a set of my life. And it was very memorable because, there's so much energy in that room that night that, I kind of used it to, just heal, so much healing energy. And, but I loved every open mic, and, I always cherish those memories forever.
So going back to the Coulda Been House, who are you the closest to, and who do you think you'll still stay in contact with moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. I kept my mind open to everybody, being cool with everybody, despite the differences that there was inside the house with people. But before the show, I did hang out with White Goof Sticky. Shout out White Goof Sticky. He's based out of Michigan, and he's got his own studio. He's very passionate about his art, and I met him at the hotel that night. We burned up, and he told me his life story. We checked out each other's music. Also hung out with Bipley Snip. Shout out Bipley Snip. He's got his own language. He's from Baltimore. That Baltimore lingo. Shout out Magoot. I also met another homie, Mahomes, who got eliminated, and M.R, Jamaican from the UK. Shout out M.R. And but yeah, those probably the people that I met first. And going to the house, I met up with Frank Lito. Shout out Florida. Shout out all the Florida homies. I met Motion Man. We were in the room together. Shout out Kiki Marie, she was in the room. Bino Slim from Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out him too. Shout out Swisher. He was in the master bedroom with us too. He's from Ohio. Kiki Marie from Ohio too, in Canada. But yeah, shout out everybody. I guess those were the closest people because we, spent the room and nights together while I was there.
Yeah. So with you living in a house full of other artists, how did that affect you, or how did that help you grow in your music? What was one of the biggest things you learned while you were at the house from other artists that helped you elevate yourself?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different characters, a lot of different energies, a lot of different perspectives and types of music. But, being around a lot of, creatives. It really helped expand my imagination, just from the energies I was picking up, and, just from everybody's, passion, whether it was passion for fighting, for music, or for whatever you believed in. It really pushed me, because in the end of the day, it was a competition. We were competing for $50,000, and, you had to go hard. And it was definitely a once in a lifetime experience. And it definitely helped me grow as an artist in a way, as to everybody was doing different. So I wanted to be different. I was attracted to the odd and to the weirdos. You know what I mean? I feel like I was the only like different dude, like with that kind of unique energy, kind of rare. You don't really kind of find that kind of stuff. I know in Asheville it's normal, but around the world, I'm still considered a weirdo, or, because I don't conform to the normal. But I was still that in the house, and that kind of made me stand out. But at the end of the day, everybody's cool. Everybody's energy feed off everybody. And I love to collaborate with every other artist out there. I'm down for whatever.
So did y'all get to record, or did y'all have writing sessions with each other? How was that, like, creating art in that house? How did that go?
So everybody was kind of doing their own thing. I kind of wrote some music by myself. Everybody was just doing their solo thing. I know at one point somebody had ripped off the books. I think I went to the shower, and when I came out, somebody's book has been ripped off their page with their lyrics, and
So
that
it
was
wasn't
crazy.
you?
No, that was not me. Yeah. Actually, my pages were not ripped, which I was cool about. Yeah.
So you're saying all the drama, none of that was by design. It all kind of just happened. Having that many artists competing for $50,000, it all just naturally happens on the show.
Yeah. Nothing was scripted. Everything you see is real. The cameras were rolling 24/7, and the mics were on 24/7. And there might have been a little bit alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the So there was. I ain't gonna lie. The bartender's cool, man. Shout out the bartender. He was like some Italian dude. He kept feeding us alcohol. I was cool with it. I was like, you want another shot? I was like, yeah, man. Bring it to me, bro. But yeah, everybody was like pretty messed up, So at the end of the day, I'm Mexican, so when I get tips, I want to fight. So I was like, man, I wanna stay out of the drama, man. I ain't trying to hurt nobody. I ain't trying to get hurt, type shit,
So being at that level of competition where you got all the real cameras on you, you got all the real microphones, how did that open you up? Because I've noticed on your IG page, like it seems like you're popping out a lot more content now. You seem a lot more comfortable behind a microphone, especially like hopping on here. How do you think that affected you the most, like being behind those cameras and like around that level of production?
Yeah, it gave me a lot of motivation, definitely. I was kind of like a deer in headlights at first. There were big cameras pointing at me. I was like, oh, shit, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want my image to get distorted and stuff like that. But, like, I tried my best, but to this day, that helped me out a lot, actually, because I hadn't really thought about it. But, it kind of gave me a lot of confidence, seeing who I am as a person. I always kept it real. I always kept it raw, I always had this sort of kind of energy to me. I like to protect my energy. So that's kind of like the thing that I think made me stand out. I never conformed to the, normal, like the Matrix, like the show. But, I just want to stay true to myself. But, yeah, it did help out a lot. And, definitely today, I do not suffer from depression or anxiety as much as I did before going to the show and it airing. Because a lot of people have reached out to me, and that really helps me out. And I got to be a beacon. It's still in the back of my mind, but I want to be a beacon to those who don't have that, kind of mindset or push that I was given. So I want to give out the less helpful, in any form or shape I can. Just give back to the people who, feel like shit, and tell them that they're not alone and that they have a friend in me.
I think that's important, that when you got that platform and you had the opportunity to get, as of right now, 4.1 million views on that episode.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that you actually went on the show. You were your authentic self, and by being your authentic self, you might be able to show someone else, hey, you're not alone. You're not the only one with these thoughts. And you're kind of explaining, like with your music, and we're talking about on the show right now, that through your music, through getting yourself out there, that's helping you out and helping relieve a lot of that. And I think a lot of people can benefit from that, and you just being authentic and being real to yourself, and knowing that you have a message with your music, and then sticking with that message instead of trying to just make something for the views or for the clicks. You're being real on the music. And that's one thing that I admire about artists, is when they're authentic and they're real, and they're not just chasing after all the clout and all the likes and all the luxuries right now, and just being real, because that's whenever, like, I always imagine when I put a song out, like, you can probably listen to me the best at like 10 to 1 o'clock in the morning, like when you're in that relaxed state of mind, because I know I get off of some deep places, or when I'm in my dark places in life, that's the time of the night that, like, I'm trying to find something to help inspire me. So a lot of my music so far has been like, if you go play it in a bad spot, especially me, when I go play my music late at night, it hits differently than it does. And I think that's why, like, it's so important to just be who you are, and share the message that you know that you're supposed to share. And I applaud you on doing that, especially with the platform you had.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, man. You know, I think that's kind of how energy works. You know, if you're trying to manifest something, you know, give out that intention, but don't expect it. You know that it's coming to you. And, you know, that's what happened to me. You know, I just put that energy out. I wasn't expecting anything. You know, I worked hard. You know, I've been making music since high school. I was class of 2012, Berea High School. And, you know, I've always put out this energy, and I've always had the same message. You know, growing up, I always had that anxiety since I turned like 16, 17, you know. And it all came from, like, my family. You know, my mom's was a single moms, you know, suffered from depression, anxiety as well. You know, she could barely take care of us, and that kind of impacted my life as well, which I did not know until, like, my adult days, you know. And yeah.
So what's one of the biggest takeaways you take from being on the show? And what are you trying to use now moving forward in your life, just like experience off the show? If that question makes sense.
So the experience I got from the show was kind of like, you know, at the end of the day, it was Druski and it was comedy, but, you know, he knows what he's doing, you know, and with the right people and the right mindset, you know, he can help us, you know. So I believe that Druski's just, you know, trying to make his platform grow, but at the same time give us lesser artists who are not known or who do not have a way to, you know, fully show themselves out to millions of people, give us a platform. And that's what happened to me. You know, I was at 900 followers going into the show. I made a new Instagram, and I'm currently at 107, and most of them came from the show or reels I've shared. But yeah, the experience going forward, I think helped me to shape what I want to do, you know, which is entertainment and streaming. You know what I mean? I want to make skits. You know, Druski is a big inspiration. What I do. Shout out all the other streamers too. Casanat, Speed. You know, there's my inspiration. You know, and I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch soon as well.
So being on the show, coming out of it, what's kind of your game plan now? So you're wanting to start doing Twitch and making more reels, and so what's kind of your plan with your music after the show?
Yeah, so basically, I've always used music as a form of escape, but I've always used comedy as a form of escape. You know, if you know my homies, you know I'm one of the funniest, always cracking jokes, sometimes some dark humor, you know, but, you know, it kind of heals me to kind of, you know that people see me and I can give them a good laugh, or like they're just entertained. They're like, oh, like, who's that dude with the big mohawk? Damn, he looks crazy. Whoa, why is he screaming? You know, like I've gone to like CC's Pizza Buffet, and this little dude was like, look, Mom, that's a rock star. And, you know, like those kind of things just kind of like heal my soul, you know. So like going forward, I just wanna, reach as many people as I can, and hopefully they realize who I am and what I want to do and what I want to create and the message that I want to have, and they just radiate towards it, because I know that I'm not alone. There's people like me, and I know they're just looking for something or someone to, have there, and I want to be that person. With great power comes great responsibility. Ben Parker, shout out Spidey Man. Yeah.
So kind of hopping into more of like your life in music and the creative process. So you started going to the yard in 2023. When did you really start creating your music or hopping behind a mic or writing your lyrics down?
Yeah, so I guess growing up, I was kind of living in a religious household, so I didn't have that much kind of form of music. But for the music that I was hearing on the radio, or at the time, there's a lot of Nirvana playing, a lot of Linkin Park, and I kind of got introduced into like rock music at first. So that kind of steered me towards that motion, and it inspired me to this day. But yeah, I forgot the question.
Oh, you're good. When did you first start making your own music?
Oh yeah, so I started making music back in 2012. I think it was just like a school MacBook. It had Adobe Audition on it, and I thought it was so cool. I just put a little beat on and rapped through the the iMAXX microphone, and I heard my voice, and I thought it was the coolest shit ever. And I actually made an EP. It was a freestyle EP. I put on it was like lo-fi early SoundCloud days when that lo-fi was like rocking. It wasn't the same thing repeatedly. But yeah, I dropped the EP on thatpiff.com. I don't know if you guys remember that. It's like where they drop mixtapes and stuff. But yeah, I dropped Rayman's Anomaly: The Great Escape 2, because that was my favorite video game growing up, Rayman's Great Escape. But yeah, they were all like one take freestyle over lo-fi beats. That was my first creative form of art back in 2012. Ever since then, I've been recording myself, and my last album, Black Angel Wings, was recorded at the studio, and I recorded a lot of stuff on my own. Last mixtape, which was Fairy Tales, Dreams, and Nightmares, out on SoundCloud. And yeah, I don't usually record myself, but yeah, to this day, I'm going to go to professional studios and kind of, level up my production as well.
So talking about that, how important do you think it is to have at least a small studio at your house so you can keep that practice going? Do you do have like a home studio?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. I always had a studio. I started out with a little USB AT-T2020. And that helped me a lot. It was just a MacBook and a USB microphone you plug into it. And, it's good for demos, especially if you hear a beat and you're like, oh, snap, like I want to hop on this. Like, I want to freestyle on it. I think it's going to be the best thing, because in my mind, if you hear a beat and you really like it, the idea is going to spark. And you don't want to lose that. So having a home studio is very important for situations like that. You hear a beautiful beat that you want to hop on, and you want to take it in the studio, boop, home studio, rap. Even if it's not the greatest quality, you still have that project, you still have that blueprint, and you can listen back to it, revise it as many times as you like, and then you can go hit up the professional studio, which I think is very important as well, especially going nowadays in this competitive, and a lot of people starting to do music. I think quality will definitely stand out. So that's a tip going up.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, like maybe some people like to write or they like to freestyle maybe on their phone, but they feel like they have to have like a professional grade studio at home that get started making music. And 99% people that I've talked to about how they got started, it's just, I got this random mic, I got something to work as an interface, and then use some kind of free software on my computer to record it. Yeah. And just learning how to do a little bit of that, your art can grow so much more compared to just staying writing it and then waiting for studio time, because you don't know if you're going to make that time. But if you have that studio at home, whenever that thought comes in your brain, and like I liked how you were talking about the antenna earlier, like if you're putting yourself ready to make the music, sometimes that music just comes, and if you're waiting for that special moment to happen and you don't have anything to capture it, it just goes to waste.
Yeah.
So it took me forever to get the studio at my house that I have now, but I know just finally getting the right mic, or finally getting a microphone, and finally getting a computer that actually had like GarageBand on it.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
I love
and
GarageBand.
then just like I felt like I was a little bit of an artist before that, but as soon as I could actually start playing with songs and stuff on my own, even though I had no clue what I was doing, I was able to start painting a little bit. You know,
it's definitely
on
a game
the track.
changer.
But I still haven't been to a professional studio. It's something I wanna try out for sure.
Nice.
I learned a lot. Me and Shameful did a podcast a couple months ago,
Shout
and
out
just-
Shameful.
and just doing a podcast with him and me and him doing the rap roulette I do on here. He showed me so much about mixing that I had no clue about, and then it made me do like a deep dive into like all the mixing and all the mastering of songs to make them sound just a little bit better. And it, like you were talking about the quality,
Yeah.
and I'm still trying to learn a lot of it, but just that little bit of quality could be the thing that separates you from your competition in the music.
Yeah, of course. Shout out Shameful. He was actually featured on my last project called Fairy Tales, Dreams, and Nightmares. I went over and he helped me record, and I have 2 tracks. He's actually in the ad-libs. I wasn't supposed to say that, but he's on the ad-libs. If you check out that SoundCloud mixtape, Fairy Tales, Dreams, and Nightmares. Shout out Shameful, though, man. I love that dude.
So when you hop in the studio and you got a new song coming, how are you freestyling it? Are you making a vibe track, or are you going in there with pre-written stuff, or what's your creative process look like?
When I'm in the home studio, it's kind of just like one take freestyles. But if I go to the professional studio, I like to have, written material, and I want it to be special, because, if you hear a beat that you really resonate to, you're going to play it over and over and over. It's kind of going to be like a remedy, kind of like timeless, you're not going to get tired of it. And that's the kind of songs I like to take to the studio, kind of like the timeless music that you listen to over and over and kind of always help you soothe your mind. Everybody has a favorite song, and everybody has their songs that they like to repeat to, whether you're down, whether you're hype, so those songs I like to take to the studio, and it takes me a minute to record. I kind of got to have a right mindset, I can't just wake up and start writing down, I got to be in a good mindset, good headspace, might be a Tuesday, it might be a Friday, any time of the day. I just put on a beat, and, if the ideas are flowing, I write them down, sometimes they get lost, sometimes I'm driving, I love driving, listening to beats. That's like the best shit, freestyling, those are some of the best moments just to kind of release your energy, But yeah, I like to, put on the beat and just like write my thoughts down, like spill your heart out and so on like paper and stuff for your notes.
I used to write a whole lot, but anymore, I don't want to hear nothing until I'm sitting in the studio with my headphones or my speakers, and I just want to. I play about 10 seconds of a song, and then as soon as I find a good vibe I like in those first 10 seconds, I'll stop it because I don't want to hear it no more. Until I get that first take. And sometimes the first take is terrible, but a lot of times the whole song comes out of a freestyle first take right there.
Yeah, it's always like natural. Gotta be natural.
So I like doing it. But then the last song I just put out called Lemonade that came out last week.
Nice.
That one, like I had the lyrics coming to me. Like I had the chorus, she's sweet like some lemonade on a hot sunny summer day. And that's all I had. But like for like 2 or 3 weeks, I just had that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go find a beat, and I'm just going to sing the chorus until I find a beat I like. And then I found a beat. But then that song took me like 2 weeks to write. And typically I'll write a song in a few hours and I'll knock it out. But that one, like, and then I did the deep dive on that song and got into it, which is not the best master ever. But it was the first time I went through the whole process of mixing, making sure everything was as clean as I could possibly make it, and then hopping into the mastering side and just playing with those volumes. But that was a weird song because it's been years since I've really sat down and tried to write lyrics and it took me about 2 weeks to get that whole song to finally finish. But I think it's so cool how you never know what type of song you're gonna make until you're sitting there and the music's playing. Or every song I feel like it's got something just a little bit different on it of how you create it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
So how would you describe your sound? Is it more rock? Is it more rap? Is it what would you consider your sound really?
Yeah, I always like to be different. You know, I didn't want to be like somebody else. I didn't want to copy any styles. I was influenced growing up on rock music, you know, alternative rock, you know, whether it was Nirvana on the radio or Linkin Park, you know, and growing up, some of the first rappers I listened to was like Eminem, Lil Wayne, but my biggest inspiration came when Kid Cudi dropped the Man on the Moon 1 album. And, you know, it was the first time I really kind of like related to another artist, and it kind of helped me out when I played Mr. Rager, you know. But yeah, I like to incorporate my art, whether it be, you know, kind of like alternative or, you know, like emo-ish. You know, I get a lot of inspiration from like Lil Peep or Juice WRLD or XXX Tentacion. You know, I did grow up listening to all them back in 2012, 2015, you know, and it kind of influenced me a lot. But yeah, I like to say it's like alternative rock, you know, hip hop, emo rap, but I don't really like having a genre. You know, I kind of like want to break boundaries, want to break genres, you know, create something new, you know, and that's what I strive to do in my music. But yeah, I got a lot of influence from like alternative rock, hip hop type beats.
So this is something I've been thinking about a little bit this week. Like I was looking through my library of songs that I've created lately, and I've been thinking, and I had this question on my own head: what makes me decide what songs do I put out and which songs do I keep in the vault? Is it like more quality, or is it like this is saying this message, this is more of my personal stuff? Like what to you helps you like break a song out of the vault or keep it in there?
Yeah, so definitely one thing would be the quality. Another thing would be the feeling. I think at the end of the day, it's what that song makes you feel, you know, and if it has enough power to make you feel a certain way, whether it be happy, sad, excited, you know, joyful, I think those are the songs that are worthy to give, you know, other people feeling, you know, because some people have struggled with feeling anything at all. But, you know, if they play something, you know, a song with a strong feeling, I think that would really resonate, you know, and really catch people's attention and kind of like help them out, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was thinking about it, because I have like 2 or 3 I'm debating on which ones to actually put out.
Yeah.
And like I've made some, like I have a couple of my favorite songs I've ever made that I've realized I haven't ever put out. And like and I've also switched computers in the last 2 years. And my other computer crashed, unfortunately. But I still have like the original takes on a file on my phone. But there's like 2 or 3 parts of it that just make me cringe the way I recorded it. And now I can't get the original stems. And it's like, well, if I go try to re-record that, I'm never going to get that same feeling again. Yeah. So sometimes that's got something to do with it. But sometimes it's just like I have some, like I've been working on, I don't know if I'm going to make it an album or not, but I'm working on this idea. And I'm starting to feel like every song's starting to sound the same. So I'm trying to free my mind to try to sing another song now. But and I don't know if those are ever going to come out or not. But I've thought about maybe the best 3, I could put them out as singles.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
But it's crazy, like when you're in the studio and then you find that song, because like you might have 100 songs on there, but only like 20 of them come out. But those 20 are the ones that you're like, oh, I love this. I'm going to go tweak this. I'm going to tweak that. I'm going to put another ad lib on, another layer. And then you find yourself like, this song's like, oh, it's coming together. This one's the next one. Then you put your effort into making that song happen. But that's how I do it. But I don't know. For some reason, that thought just popped in my head. Like, what makes me think about keeping a song in the vault or putting it out to the world?
Yeah. I think definitely it's important to, you know, have like 10 plus beats. You know, I think my first EP, Black Angel Wings, it was supposed to be a 10 plus song album. It ended up just being 3 songs, but, you know, kind of have those options and, you know, the best of the best, you know, I think those just release them, you know. I think that's the best way, at least for me, you know. It is hard to push out them projects, but like that one, I picked the 3 best beats that I liked and the best 3 lyrics that I got, and that's what I put out for my art.
So if you do get some people wanting to work with you from the show, or just anybody that finds your music, who is your dream collaboration if you could make that happen?
Dream collaboration, dead or alive. All right. A dream collaboration from.
Oh, dead or alive?
Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go.
It can be either.
Okay.
Well, let's say alive, just so it could maybe possibly happen.
Okay. I'll do both, but
Yeah.
if alive, I will like to work with let me see, probably Ski Mask, the Slump God, or Silikami. And if they were dead, I'd probably work with Lil Peep, Mac Miller.
Yeah, Mac Miller.
Yeah. I also want to work with like Kid Cudi, you know, just cause he, you know, what he means to me and terms of music creating and inspiration, you know, that always be like one of my favorite artists.
I think
like
he's
Kid
got an
Cudi.
album coming out. What, August 22nd? I've been playing. He's got a song coming out on the new album called Grave, and I've just had that on repeat. I've actually went back on a Kid Cudi kick lately.
Dope.
I think
always
I've just been
awesome.
listening to like his top songs
Yeah.
on Apple Music every time I'm at the gym.
Yeah, you kind of
Yeah.
gotta have like
When's
a tolerance break.
What was it? I want to find the name of this song because I have been playing this on repeat. It was by Kid Cudi, and it came out on the album he put out a while ago, and I just never paid attention to it earlier. Let me find that.
Yeah.
I sent it to Victor the other day at work. By Design. Off the
I
Passion,
like that
Pain,
one.
and Demon Slaying album.
Yeah, I like that song.
But that
I like
song,
that
I
album.
found it finally.
Nice.
And I like that part where it's like, don't fuck with the feng shui.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been playing it on repeat lately.
That's dope.
So what's so far with your music career? What's your favorite song you've put out?
My favorite song would have to be one of my first songs. Is called Dead Inside. It's released in 2017. It was my first fully song that I did, and I did have the first verse written, and I just, you know, I was stuck on that, and one day, you know, they fired me from my job. I was working at a restaurant, and I just went home. I put on my headphones, got in this closet to record, and, you know, I just did the second verse right there, you know. And I think that was one of my favorite songs just because of the beat and what it means to me. But lately, my favorite song from my release stuff will be probably Black River, because I love performing that song, and it has a very deep message. You know, he's like, you know, it's kind of a dark song. You know, it talks about like, you know, devil's catching up to me, you know, and like, but that's just metaphors to like, you know, depression, you know, and you just kind of like got to break free from that, you know. But it's one of my favorite songs. It's called Black River from my Black Angel Wings EP.
Is that available everywhere?
It's available on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
Yeah, and it's got a music video on YouTube as well called Black Angel Wings.
What's your YouTube?
My you can find me on YouTube as Freed Glitch. Yeah, and I got a couple music videos.
I'll make sure to put some links on here too.
Yeah, but I got a couple music videos, and I'm starting to do shorts and skits as well, so y'all check those out as well.
Did you make any music videos before you went on the show?
Yeah, so around the time that I did get Druski hit me up, I had just released Detonate on YouTube. That was shot by DMR, Dustin Robinson. Shout out Forever Productions. You know, that's one of my long-term homies. We met at the Odd actually, and you know, he would always show love and take pictures for everybody with no charge, you know. And he shot my music videos that I have out on YouTube. So I always want to have a lot of love and support for that dude, man. Dustin Robinson, DMR. You can check him out on YouTube as well.
I see a lot of his stuff. We'll have to try to get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
So here's a fun question. What's the weirdest place you've ever written a song?
The weirdest place I ever written a song. Let me see. Probably. Probably after going out after a wild night, and just having a good night. One of those nights that you end up hooking up or whatever. So I think it was like the post like after that you kind of like I just like put on a beat and I just kind of wrote some stuff to after that, and yeah, I think that was one of my craziest ones.
Do you find yourself, so you say you ride around a lot in your car listening to beats and writing songs. I know I do that a lot just to kind of keep, especially when I haven't made music in a while. I like to at least keep practicing my freestyles. So I guess I don't know if weirdest spot I've ever made music would be I don't know. I normally am in the car. Probably like in one of my buddies' cars in the back seat, just being stupid. And back in my younger days, just having fun. We always used to just freestyle every party we went to. I was bad to have my own headphones and then go hide off in a room by myself and just play instrumentals and just start rapping and writing as soon as the party started out. No. But that's probably the weirdest. Yeah. I would just go to a party and find a empty room where no one else was, and then just put my headphones on while everybody else is partying. I probably partook in a couple of things to free my mind, and then as soon as I got that, I went and hid and wrote songs.
Nice. Yeah, I do have a very fond memory. I was in high school, and after school, we went to the homie Louis' crib, and we were playing like zombies, Black Ops, and everybody was just like freestyling, and everybody was having a good time. We were like in a circle, just jumping up and down. We were just happy to be alive. It was just like one of those times.
What do you think it was? What do you think it was that like gave you that bug to want to make music? Like, can you remember a moment whenever you just knew you were a little different to make music, or?
Yeah, kind of. I guess I always loved, what music could do. And, I guess it was around the high school era when I really was like, I think I want to start rapping. Actually, it was at a session at high school, after school went out. And, everybody was, just having a good time. And it was like, hey, man, we're going to freestyle. Like, who trying to freestyle? And like that's how I started, just like a little cipher with the homies. You always got that one homie who loves freestyling, and he's like, man, come on, man, spit something. So I started spitting. I did suck at first. I ain't gonna lie. I was just spitting about like I don't know, like trippy stuff or like but I progressed, and I started getting good at it. I started enjoying it, which I think is the most important part. I started enjoying freestyle, and it kind of just helped me free my mind in a way, and that's how I started out.
Yeah, I have a similar experience. Me and my friends, I found I wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of rap music growing up. So when I got to high school, I got my first smartphone. And then I just started looking up free music on there, and I found Eminem. I've heard him obviously growing up, but I never really dug into his music a whole lot.
Yeah,
and I don't know. After I started listening to him all the time, I just wanted to rap all the time, and I don't know what really made me keep wanting to make music, because that was like 2011 when I first started really listening. Well, 2010 when I first really started listening to rap and studying it, and I just fell in love with the whole genre and how you like, because I can't sing at all, because I always wanted to sing, because I've always wrote songs since like second grade, but I just don't have a singing voice. But then I realized with rap, you don't have to sing the whole time. You can just make sure you're giving a good flow. Obviously you still got to have a good voice, but I don't know. I just, when I started listening to Eminem, I realized like, hey, this could be something I could do for fun. I started doing it for fun, and then I would rap with my friends at parties and stuff, but then for some reason, I just wanted to take it a little more serious. and I started hanging out with some other guys that wanted to take it serious, and we started making music together. Shout out to Mikey XYZ, even though you're no longer here. Me and him were making a lot of music, and then he had an unfortunate accident back in 2013 range, and that kind of set me back from making music a while because me and him were making a lot of music. He got in a car crash, and so I don't think I put out anything. Me and him were making a lot of stuff, and at the time of that happening, I was supposed to hang out with him that night, and I don't know. After that, I didn't feel like making music for a little while.
Yeah.
But 2016 comes around, I get an iPad for the first time, and I bought me one of those iRigs that plug into the iPad that you could plug a mic up to.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna start taking this serious.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, it's crazy to think about kind of where you started at to where you're at now, and how do you feel like you've grown as an artist since those 2012 days, 2013 days?
Definitely grown a lot. I remember just freestyling the whole beat, not really knowing what a chorus was, not really knowing what a bridge was, and to this day, I think I never really took music seriously. I always kind of doubted myself. I always suffered from like low self-esteem. So like throughout the years, I think I've kind of grown confident in myself, and kind of not really care about what anybody thinks. Just doing you and staying true to yourself. But to this day, I actually make choruses. I make hooks. I want to make everything moving forward more professional. Go to the studio, make these professional music videos. Pay for that, because at the end of the day, it's investing in yourself and your business. And I want to take Free GLiTCH to the next level, and go worldwide. Universal with it.
How important do you think it was actually getting to see somebody like Druski, he's making his living off of putting out content, and putting out music and stuff with his label, and he's got the Coulda Been Love show.
Yep.
I know he's got a lot of other stuff that he does. He just hosted the ESPYs this year.
Yep. Yeah. Druski is everywhere. He's never home.
And I mean, you see somebody like that that's actually putting the work in as an artist, comedian. He's going out there every day. Every time you turn on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, you're seeing something with him on it, an ad or another show he's putting out. How important do you think that was to actually see somebody doing what you want to do and actually succeeding at it, to like give you the confidence, like, hey, if this guy's doing it, I'm gonna watch him how he's doing it, and then I'm gonna try to keep building my own brand.
Yeah.
Like, how important is that to see somebody actually do it in person?
Yeah, I think it's very important, and it's definitely very inspiring. To this day, I'm working a 9 to 5, but I always want to be financially free. And, actually meeting someone, and him, flying me out, taking money out of his pocket to, have me on his show. It definitely felt good, and it definitely made me realize that anybody can get there. You just got to put the work in. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of no's, but I think as much energy, as much motivation and passion you have with what you're doing and what you want to accomplish, I think if somebody takes their time to say, hey, I want to be financially free and making content, I think in this day and age especially, it's very important. A lot of people on a PC, a lot of people on their phone, that's where they spend most of the time. Back in my day, I'm a 90s baby. I didn't have all that, but things had definitely changed throughout the years, and I think content creation is at its all-time high, to support somebody in the 3-digit figures, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah. Because I know, like in my own story, I probably would have never performed music live. And if I'd have never performed music live, I would have never started a podcast or even putting out reels like I'm trying to. I need to do better at. But without V-Flow, who supports the channel right here, he's behind the cameras on most episodes. He's a real one. But without him inviting me to an open mic and then getting to see him perform helped me open up the door. Well, maybe I can perform, because I've always wrote
Yeah.
music and put music out, but then seeing someone actually trying to pursue that was very inspiring.
Yeah,
And we haven't made it
course.
to the level that we're going to get to yet. But now we're a lot more open to trying out new cities, trying to find new open mics, trying to find our own venues, and putting yourself out there. And I think it's so important, like,
Yeah.
because I know, like me, when I was a lone artist and I didn't really have any other artist friends, and most of my friends, they'd just be like, "No, man, you need to quit. That sucks," or they wouldn't like motivate you to keep putting music out. You feel so alone in that spot.
Yeah.
And then you feel like a complete weirdo to all your friends, because you're staying up till 3 o'clock at night writing songs, and nobody's hitting play, and all the people around you are telling you just to kind of give up. And then you actually get around some people that are like, "Nah, man, this is all right. Like, let's keep pushing this. This is what we got to do. Let's go perform it." I
Yeah.
think that changed a lot in my life. Just kind of getting around V-Flow, Pasado, Click, Chano, and Alex.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's been one of the most life-changing things that's happened to me, especially as an artist and as a person too. Because like, just getting that confidence, knowing that I've gotten up in front of 100 people, or we went to an open mic in Raleigh, and there had to be at least 200-300 people in this little small room.
Nice.
But I got up there and I did my song up there, and I
That's
didn't care what anybody thought. And that's helped me get way more confidence to just talk to anybody nowadays,
Yeah.
and just gave me confidence in myself, and just seeing someone else do something. And I'm just sure, like, the experience you had getting around that level of business and that level of creativity, and I'm sure he has camera people and the right booms and everything. I think that's an awesome thing to grow from.
Yeah, it was definitely a beautiful experience, and I think it is helpful to have like-minded individuals around you, to help push you, and everybody feeds off everybody energy in a positive way. And I think it's really important to have an outlet, or to have a homie there to support you, and genuine love, genuine friendship. I think it's all about connections, and people take that for granted sometimes. It's always good to be a nice person. You never know what the next person's going through. If you open the door for someone, that might have made their day. You never know what they going through. So I think it's always good to be, kind, gentle-hearted person, and put good, positive energy out there in the world. It always comes back to you.
Yeah, that's something I didn't really think about, or I don't know if you'd say believe in, until like probably 2020 range. But then kind of learning about the energy you put out is what you'll get back.
Yeah, definitely.
When you start playing around with that, it's amazing how it can change your perspective on life, for sure. So, no. Wait, we're gonna have to have a. Well, that's a good spot to. I can switch to this phone.
Okay, but
We're-
I'm about to use the restroom right quick.
Oh, and while we're kind of off right now, so I do a little segment called Rap Roulette, if you're interested, where we find a random beat, or we can make it however you want to, but I like to find like a random beat, throw it in, and just do a freestyle off of it.
Yeah, I heard of it. I seen it. Yeah, I'm down for it, bro. Yeah, I'm down
Sometimes-
for a random beat.
If you're interested, we can do that towards the end.
Yeah, I'm down freestyle, bro, for sure.
I'm thinking I got 2 more sections I want to kind of go through, maybe like 20 more minutes of podcast, then
Yeah,
we'll
of
hop
course.
into that.
I'm down, bro, for sure. Sounds good. I'm having fun, bro. This shit's dope.
All right, we'll just start right back here. So how do you think social media helps, or actually, let me rephrase that question. Do you think social media helps new artists or hurts new artists, or what? How do you feel about this whole new social media landscape that you have to have us in your arsenal to be an artist nowadays? How do you feel about that? And do you think it's actually helping artists, or do you think it's hurting artists?
I think in this day of age, your image and how you portray yourself on social media is everything. I'm not going to lie. There's some artists that have a very good, profile image, but, their songs aren't that good. And there are artists who have amazing songs and their social media isn't there. I think it's kind of a balance, you kind of got to have talent and a good social media presence, and I think it's very important. if someone wants to look you up, type your name into Google and you got your links up there. You got your YouTube, you got your Spotify, you got your iTunes, where somebody can find you. I think that's very important as well. So social media is a very strong thing to have nowadays.
Sorry, I'm chewing a cough drop. Yeah, I feel like it adds a whole nother thing to you as an artist, and having a full-time job and trying to be trying to actually be serious about your music. I feel like it takes like all my extra time trying to make reels for my new song, because now it's not just, I can't just put my song, I mean you can, but it's not going to get heard. But you have to make the song, you got to perfect it, right? But then you got to spend like a month before you put the song out getting 5-6 different videos ready that can make you 30 reels. And then I don't know, a lot of it feels like it takes the fun out of making the music. And I've noticed myself, like when I start shooting multiple reels for the same song, like the creative part of it feels like, nope, we're just getting this clip. We got to make something quick. But you have to have that visual nowadays to get people to actually hear it, because they're not going to just click on your YouTube link like they used to back 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yep.
But I don't know, like I like it because it is adding a visual to your actual sound, and I feel like that actually enhances the song somehow, some way. Just magically having that picture or video of you singing it adds like another layer, kind of like mastering or mixing it. Just clicks that song up just a little bit more for whatever reason.
Yep.
But I don't know if it's helping more or hurting more, because then you got every other artist in the world making reels after reels after reels. And I don't know what like your IG or TikTok looks like, but especially when I'm putting out that kind of content for my music, I feel like the only thing I see is 100 other artists doing the same kind of thing. And it's like, well, how can I stand out from all these other people that are doing it all day?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I do enjoy making some content, but I definitely don't put it out like I should. But one reason is because I feel like it does take away a lot of the fun of making the music, because then you're just kind of a slave to putting out another reel.
Yeah, I feel
But
that.
I don't know. What's the proudest moment you've had so far in your career?
The proudest moment was probably Coulda Been House season 1 premiere, when I first saw myself on the stage on my audition. It's kind of surreal. I did fly out to Miami, Florida, and everything kind of seemed like a dream, like it was just surreal. But actually seeing me on the big screen with millions of eyes on me, it was just a different kind of feeling. And I think that's one of my proudest moments right there. So I'm just going to keep feeding off that and, take that motivation and just keep pushing.
So I'd like to get a little deep in this question right here.
Yeah.
So earlier you were talking about how you had that antenna, you're spreading that frequency, and then all of a sudden, like just out of thin air, magically, you get asked to do this show. How do you think, because like I believe 100% in like having like that, what would you call it? Like, I don't know if telepathy is the right word, but like having that antenna,
yeah,
and getting yourself in that right spot. How do you think somebody actually gets their mind ready for that? Because like you've seen it firsthand experience, like putting yourself in the right vibe mentally, putting out the right content, doing this and that, and then having that pick you out of that. Well, how do you think you prepared yourself, and how do you think people can really truly get connected with that antenna?
Yeah, so ever since like 2020, I got introduced into metaphysicals, into crystals, into energy, into chakras. And I think that kind of elevated my life, because before, you're kind of stuck in this matrix world that, people put, try to keep you locked inside a box. They don't teach you the laws of the universe. They don't teach you all of this stuff in school. They teach you fake history and stuff. You know what I mean? But definitely just, being in tune with myself, I am a grandmaster Reiki healer. I work a lot with my chakras, and that helped me out a lot. But it's all in yourself. It's all in your energy. It's all how you put yourself out there. You know, if you have an intention that, you know, you want to do, you know, the first step is have that intention. The second step is, you know it's going to happen, believe in it, you know, take inspired action, you know, just live in the flow. And the last step, which is the hardest, is letting that go and knowing it's coming to you. Don't look at your phone, you know, don't be like, hey, when am I going to blow up? You know, just have in your mind and truly believe that, you know, what you want to manifest is really going to happen. And that energy will, you know, is going to find you because, you know, you're not expecting it. And that's kind of what happened. You know, I was just manifesting, you know, putting my energy out there and I wasn't expecting anything. And one day, magically, you know, that text popped up and, you know, I wasn't really surprised, you know, because, you know, you kind of gotta keep that mindset. Once you have it, you know, it can also leave, but you gotta know and believe that it's yours already. So I think that's a big thing that helped me out in my journey.
Yeah, definitely getting rid of that mental blockage and then
the mental
positioning
blockages.
yourself in the correct direction.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you might not understand the direction you're going, but if you know you're trying to do everything the way that you know you're supposed to do it. Like one thing I'm trying to do in my life right now is make sure I'm just trying to live out my potential.
Yeah.
Now, if that takes me deeper into my landscaping career or if it takes me deeper in my music career or my podcast career, I just want to be faithful to show up, to do the work that I'm supposed to do that day. Because I've seen it like in my business, like just being faithful to show up and do the work that day. You might not see the progress, but you keep showing up day after day, month after month, year after year. Eventually, something's going to pay off just out of thin air. But it's not an overnight success. It's putting all that stuff in, like getting your mindset right, putting the work in, aiming yourself in the right direction, and then it just seems like everything just kind of falls right into place the way it's supposed to. And if you're aiming the right direction, then you know which way to actually keep walking once the opportunities open up in front of you. I think, and like really trying to get deep in your mind and try to understand that direction that you're supposed to go, I feel like it's one of the most important things.
Yeah, of course.
And accepting that that's how life is. Life isn't fair. And like if you keep comparing yourself to everybody else or their experience or what they have right now, you might be so close to getting ready to hit that gold, but if you quit digging right now, you're never going to get it. So you just got to keep digging in the direction you know to keep going. I just think that's awesome how you said how it all happened without the audition and just out of nowhere. That's crazy.
Yeah, of course. It was just like surreal, you know. I couldn't really believe it, you know. I was just kind of, my mind was blown, and, you know, to this day it's still kind of hard to believe, but, you know, everything gets what they deserve, you know, and all that energy, you know, everybody has a magnetic, you know, our heart radiates a electromagnetic field around you, and, you know, you got to have positive thoughts inside of you in order for your outside world to be positive. So, you know, I know a lot of people struggle with stuff, but, you know, just keep going, man. Just, you know, you can make that change. You can be the light. Like, I promise you, just keep going.
Wow, I saw a thing. Oh, no, we can maybe try to look it up. But it was like, I feel like it was like a bottle of water or like a glass of water. Yeah. And it was two glasses. And one glass they spoke negative into every day. And one glass they spoke positive thoughts into every day. And then after a month, the one that was negative was all moldy, turning black and everything. And then the one that they spoke positivity into was perfectly clear water.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a made-up thing or not. It could have been. But it was a good metaphor for, like, how just the power of positivity can help keep you clean and help keep you going the right way, and then how the negative thoughts tear you down and destroy you.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Is get some water, you know, it can be a water bottle, and just speak to it, you know, say I love you to your water and just drink it, and that will change a lot, you know, because like you said, you know, that water, speaking that positive energy, is going to change your molecules, because we're made of 70% water, the earth's made of 70% water. You know, I'm a Cancer sign, so I'm in tune with a lot of emotions, and the moon energy in tune with all that and I really believe in the energies and, you know, manifestation, you know, and whatever you put out there is going to come back.
For sure. I know just whenever I started trying to just really try to stay positive, just your outlook on life and just problems that come into life change so much more whenever like, okay, well, today's not the best day in the world, but it's leading me to this next step. Maybe I'm off today, but I can't keep spiraling down in this hole this way. I got to try to find myself in the cycle as I'm going down instead of making it all the way down at the valley. I was actually talking to one of my friends at work about that the other day, about like, I'm right now what I'm trying to recognize in myself is how is my weekly cycle, how is my monthly cycle, how is my seasonal cycle? Because I find myself like some days I perform at my top capacity and I feel like I'm on top of the world. You go to the next week, I'm running about halfway. Yeah. And then if I don't catch myself when I'm in that halfway stage, then I'm way down here, very unproductive, getting all kinds of crazy thoughts. I'm not doing the stuff I need to be doing at work that's going to help me with the stress and anxiety of running the business because I've spiraled all the way down here. So how can I catch myself before I get all the way down there? How can I recognize when I'm starting to spiral down? And then what disciplines can I incorporate in my life to make sure I don't get all the way down there to where I just want to run away and never come back? And when you start paying attention to those cycles in yourself, then again, like I've been trying to make sure I hit the gym every day. Like at lunchtime, I'll take my lunch break and I'll just go hit the gym, try to get a good sweat on and get all that stress off my body. Yeah. While that way, that stress don't hold me down the second half of my day, and then I can be way more productive in the second half of the day. And then if I'm more productive here, then all the other issues that I'm having kind of don't all go away, but at least you're dealing with them instead of just procrastinating and pushing them back more. Yeah. And like a lot of it's completely 100% mindset. And I just don't think people really realize how important the mindset is to overcoming really anything.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always important to kind of, you explain like the wave when you're down. I think it's always important to kind of try to stay neutral and listen to your body. You know, your body's going to tell you, hey, I'm tired, go to sleep. You know, it's best to go to sleep then. You know, there you got your highs, you got your lows, but in my own personal journey, I think it's good to stay neutral. Don't stay too up and don't stay too low. Just kind of stay in the middle, and that's when you can catch that flow state.
Because you can get what was that saying Bruce said the other day about which just kind of goes with what we're talking about. One of my friends at work was saying, he was saying, an idiot with a plan will get further than someone with talent without a plan. And it's like, just start planning your day out. Like if you can start planning like, hey, I know I am not the best that I can be, but how can I perform at 80% today? Instead of being all the way up like I have to perform at this point every single day, because it's impossible to stay up there. Yeah. But if you can find that medium, and you can come up with a plan to stay at that medium compared to somebody that's up here one day, the next day down here, you're gonna be able to win that race. Dang, I'm sorry. So what's so right now you're signed with Coulda Been Records still, right? Yeah. So how does that work with putting out new music right now? Or is that owned by them, or are you still an independent artist, or?
So with Coulda Been Records, I just sold like the NDA, but I can release my own stuff. But you know, I'll always be Coulda Been Records. You know, they helped me get a platform. You know, shout out Druski, shout out Coulda Been Records, shout out 4Lifers. You know, they brought me under their wing and gave me a platform. So you know, I'll always be loyal to them. But you know, I am my own person, my own identity, free GLiTCH, and, you know, I'm going to keep on banging out this music and spreading my message and, you know, being an independent artist the best way that I can, you know, and, you know, there's going to be music, there's going to be streaming, you know, there's going to be in real life streaming, you know, I just want to take this to the next level, because there is more to it than just music. There's a whole another entertainment business out there. You can get tapped in, because I know on the Coulda Been Love, Nina, she's now a streamer. She attended Streamer University. And, just being on a reality TV show can open so many doors, and I kind of want to take that route and, go to Streamer University too, if possible. So, Castanat, notice me. Yeah.
So now we're going to step outside of music and TV. So what is your life like outside of music and your artwork?
Outside music, I'm just another Mexican kid living in the hood, man. But yeah, I work a regular job. Right now I'm working as a cook in downtown Greenville. I can't give you the name because, I can't have people flocking it, but it's a fine dining. I'm like a head grill chef. I take a lot of pride in my work. But yeah, I'm just, working 40 hours a week. In my spare time, I love to go hang out with friends and do reels, do new music. Currently, I am working on a new tape, and I am recording a song, and it's going to have a deep, strong, real life message. It's about addiction and, some other darker stuff that you're going to find out about. But yeah, I'm just a regular person, man. But I was on YouTube, with millions of views. But, at the end of the day, I like to say my humble self, I grew up in poverty. I had a single immigrant mother trying to raise 2 children growing up. And that kind of shaped me of who I am today. My mother, my family is a very caring, kind people. And, that kind of stuck with me a lot towards my adult life. I always try to be positive and the kind of people, sometimes you get taken advantage of. And, I've learned about boundaries, and I learned how to defend myself, but I had to learn that the hard way, because I never had a father growing up and stuff like that, which is very important to have. I never had a father role. But, I came to be my own person, my own man. And yeah, just me, man. I'm from Puebla, Mexico. Shout out all the Hispanics. I'm an Azteca in blood. My race, I'm a warrior race, and my people believed in the sun god Quetzal, and that's a very crazy story. But I believe I'm from Atlantis. My last name starts with AZ. Aztlan. In Mexico, that's what they call it, Aztlan, and that's like the land of Atlantis. But it's like ancient civilization shit. They had like telepathic powers, hidden technology and shit. But I think I don't think I'm from this earth. I believe I'm a higher dimensional being. I'm just kind of residing here and chilling for a bit, but I'm a multi-dimensional being in different, time zones and stuff like that.
So kind of talking about, you were just talking about the hidden technologies of the Aztecs, right?
Yeah.
What's your view on, I've heard these theories about like how thousands and thousands of years ago we possibly had better technology than we have today, like the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs. They all had this special technology, probably based off of like vibrational forces.
Yeah.
That made us way more advanced back then, and then something hit, like a comet hit the Earth, and everything had to start over from nothing. Do you believe in that? Like, do you think it goes that far deep?
Yeah, I definitely do. The Earth is billions of years old. There's been billions of people come and go, and I believe that there is lost ancient technology that they're not telling us. Because they want to control the money. Whoever controls the money control the people. But recently, the last one was Nikola Tesla. He created energy free energy for the world. It kind of worked like Wi-Fi, but instead of Wi-Fi, it was like electricity that could power your electronics. He invented the X-ray. He had a death ray gun that could, I think they made that. But when he died, he was living in New York, and the U.S. government took all his, research and burned it down, and ever since then, there hasn't really been. But I believe, thousands of years ago, there's a higher civilization. Some call it Tartarian. Some call it the Atlantis. Definitely, the Egyptians and the pyramids were being used as, energy conductors from like the Earth. And I think that people living out here on Earth, there's a theory that we came from Nibiru, Planet X, the Anunnaki. There's a couple books written by Robert Stitchin. You can check them out, but that's a very interesting story as well. I just like to keep my mind open, and I love conspiracy theories and having own theories, but those are some cool ones.
So this is our first ever Conspiracy Theory 101 on the iMAXX podcast. Another one I was watching today was it was talking about, and I have the weird feeling, I'm sure everybody does, because the world kind of changed in 2020 when COVID hit. You had all the riots going on. It's like, I don't know what happened, but the theory I got on today was how time has accelerated. Because I've noticed, I haven't really said it out loud, maybe to a couple people, but like I feel like time has completely accelerated, like the amount of stuff you can get done in a day, or just the length of the actual day has just somehow, at least in my perspective, shrunk a little bit. And I understand that as you get older, your fraction of time gets smaller and smaller because you're living more days. So on average, it would feel like a less period of time. But I do feel like since 2019, something happened in that year, in 2020, with COVID and all that. And I don't know, I got off on a couple trails today watching videos on just how something happened then that accelerated time, and now we're all just experiencing it so much faster.
Yeah.
And I did find one that was kind of trying to explain it. I was talking about how, like, everybody being on their phones all the time, and then there's different trends. Like, stuff used to trend for 2 years before it kind of became unpopular, but now all the trends are so fast. Like, it might be a trend this week, and next week that's old news, and there's a whole brand new trend going on.
Yeah.
And so it's just making our perspective of time feel like it's going by so much quicker.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do feel like time, like the days have been accelerated.
Yeah. I definitely think time, something happened. I know in the Mayan calendar, because today we're in 2025, but that's following a whole different calendar. There's like the Gregorian calendar, and we're in like 2012 or something like that. But I know the Mayans predicted it, and like a lot of people predicted like 2012 or like, but I believe like the Gregorian calendar, 2012 was 2020. So like something happened, and I don't think time really exists. It's kind of like you're in time space continuum, but you can kind of like time travel and stuff. So right now, I stopped aging. I stopped counting my years. So on my birthday, I'm still the same age. So that's one way to control time and space. You just kind of gotta like put some energy into it and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely the time has expanded, and it's going really slow right now. But I just think that's a good thing. Kind of enjoy the moment more.
Yeah. And I don't know, because like you think about your old memories, but the craziest thing is you can't really prove that anything really happened previous to this moment right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got videos and stuff, I guess, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy to think about how, looking back at myself growing up to where I'm at now, like my memories I have still aren't even truthful to me. I'm remembering the good things about my past, and you don't really remember exactly who you are to today. It's kind of like right now it's summertime and people start to miss the wintertime, but they forget about how freezing cold it can be. And then when you're in the wintertime, you'll miss the summertime, but you'll forget about sweating, and you'll forget about the mosquitoes eating you up, and you'll forget about all the bad things, and you'll just remember that perfect afternoon you're sitting out in the sun on the beach, and you miss and long for summer, but like your memory's really lying to you because it's not showing you the whole picture of everything that really happened.
Yeah.
So how can you really prove that it's true? I don't know. I like to get
true.
caught up in that a little bit.
Yeah, like definitely if you really think about it, we're just living in the moment. The only thing that really exists is this current moment. The past and future aren't really there. So just like enjoy the current moment. And yeah.
And while we're talking about conspiracy theories, this is one of my favorite ones to think about, is that we're living in a simulation. Because what are the chances that we get to be born? You were born in the 90s. I'm born in the 90s. I think all of us were born in the 90s, right? So what are the chances that you're born in the 90s when TV and the internet's coming out and everything, and then we get to grow up in the arguably the best time to be a human? Like, you got air condition, you got heat, you got TV,
Wi-Fi.
you have Wi-Fi, like you have all this technology. What are the actual chances out of the billions of people that's ever been born, and out of the only people that were ever born in the 90s to today, what are the chances that you actually get to grow up and see all that? And like the people that were born in the 80s that got to see like all this stuff coming, like, it's wild to think that I am here in this point in time instead of being born 200 years ago with no running water, no air condition, living in the middle of the mountain somewhere,
Yeah, we're definitely living in a good era right now.
It's wild to think about the actual chances that we'd be born today. And then out of all the sperm cells that you won that race to get here today and be born in 1993 for me. And it's like, that's wild to think about. And then I'm built different.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. I also believe a little bit in reincarnation. So I think we do have past lives, and when we come back, we just forget everything. But, our skills are, passed down from generation. So like maybe in my past life, I was a poet or artist somewhere, but we're just like living out here, I could have been an Aztec warrior, cutting people's heart out or something.
What was that game they played that was like basketball, but the winner would like cut the heart out of the loser?
Oh yeah, the handball.
Something. That's crazy.
Yeah, the winner would be the one get sacrificed.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So you didn't want to?
It was an honor back in the day to get sacrificed. It was like a high thing. Yeah.
So we'll get into some fun random questions while we're on this subject, and then after this segment we'll hop into a rap roulette. I believe it's rap roulette number 4, featuring Freed GLiTCH on this episode. So what's the craziest thing you've seen, either doing a show, doing the TV show? What's the craziest thing you think you've seen in the art world so far in person?
Oh man. All right. I think almost dying would have to be up there. He's leaving a rap show that night, chilling by the car, and I guess there was a drive-by and there's a lot of shots popped off, and I've been in some situations like that, so I know what to do, which is hit the ground when you're in any type of situation. Just hit the ground, cover your face. So I did that, and I could hear the bullets ricocheting off the cars, like close, like you could shoot, like type, and it was a very crazy experience.
Where was that at?
It was in Greenville, South Carolina.
That's crazy.
Yeah, don't go to White Horse Road in Greenville. It's like it's White Horse Road in Greenville. It's crazy, like Parker, like all that.
It's been a while.
That's where I grew up. So it's like everyday normal things, but to most of the population, it's like, holy snap! Like people are scared to go there.
Yeah. So since you've done this, what's the weirdest DM you've gotten so far?
I don't know. I haven't really got any weird DMs, but I did get one saying, "Hey, are you the real Freed GLiTCH?" So I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am the real Freed GLiTCH." So like that one's pretty crazy. Like I never had anybody ask me that.
So would you? Here's a fun question. Would you rather headline a small packed venue or open up for a big artist like Drake, Kendrick, or J. Cole, or something like that?
Honestly, I would rather perform at the local packed out one instead of the headliner. Just because, I think it would be more meaningful and I would perform better because, you know, it would be for people actually there to see me and instead of, you know, someone else, you know. And if I perform at the other one, you know, some people might see me, but they're not really seeing me. They're just looking at me, you know. They're not vibing out. They don't know me, you know. But that's what I'll go off on.
That's a good answer. I might have went the other way and I wouldn't even thought like that. So what's one of your most important lines from a song? Like, what's one of your favorite lines that you've written that speaks to you still today that you use?
Yeah, definitely. I got a song called Scars. It's one of my earlier songs released back in like 2020-ish era. But it's basically saying, like, you know, it's metaphorically, but it's saying all these scars, they cut so deep. The memories remember me. Never leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Yeah. And that kind of, you know, just meant, you know, the pain, you know, it wasn't letting go. And, you know, it kind of helped me release what I was feeling at the time. And that's one of my favorite songs. You know, if I feel something build up, I kind of put it on and, you know, just vibe out.
All right, well, we'll make this next one probably the last question of the actual podcast, and then we'll hop into the rap roulette. I just had it. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Ass or tits?
Ass.
Ass and titties. Ass and titties. Hey, that. Have you heard that 21 Savage song? Ass and titties. Ass and. So with it being, it's called A&T, is the name of the song, and I had this truck that always, like, as soon as I hopped in, it would play the first song, and since it was in alphabetical order, that song, like, if I didn't turn my music down the dot before, like, I would go hop in my truck at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and it'd just be blaring ass and titties, ass and titties. But, all right, so here's going to be the last question of the podcast. If you could only listen to 3 albums forever, what 3 albums would you pick to listen to on repeat?
All right, let me see. It would be Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon 2. It would be Mac Miller. What's that song called? Movies Without Sound.
Watching movies with the sound off.
Yeah, Mac Miller, Watching Movies with the Sound Off. And it would be Lil Peep, Hellboy. No, Lil Peep Part 1. And I can explain. So Kid Cudi, Legend of Mr. Rager. I was listening to that a lot in high school, and it shaped me as an artist. It helped me cope with what I was going through at the time. Mac Miller, I was in a different area. I was in Charleston, living alone for the first time, and that album means a lot to me. You know, it's got a lot of vibes into it, and Lil Peep Part 1, just because of how much it helped me break out and know that it's okay to speak your feelings into songs and that people will relate and, you know, just like resonate and vibrate towards you. And yeah, that's why those are my 3 top picks.
All right, so we are about to go live here on Rap Roulette number 4 featuring
Free GLiTCH. Yeah.
Oh.
Hey. Free GLiTCH. Cold as the fucking ice. Gotta rise up against the government. Fuck the government. Fuck ICE. Fuck my life. Fuck that. Stay alive. Right until I fucking die. Hot like the sunshine. I'm cold like the moonlight. Yeah, you know how we ride. Vibing to the moonlight. Shining bright in the dark night.
light. It's her fucking blue eyes, yeah, mesmerize my mind, yeah, addicted to the lust. Gotta trust, gotta break free from the fucking curse. First, gotta fucking reborn, reverse. I'm gone, yeah, you know what we do.
I've been out my mind for a long time. Sometimes I feel so blind when I get in these rhymes, but I know I'm about to elevate. I cannot fake or take another second. I'm about to lose my mind, man. Lately in a dark place, about to get out though. Got my aim at the sky. I ain't stopping, bro. Gotta make it out. Got no doubts. Here I am again. I cannot pretend that this life hasn't been beating me down, but I'm on my way out now. Lately I feel like a clown, putting myself out, but I know that I cannot doubt the process. Lately feeling nauseous whenever I get behind the mic. It's like a light to my mind. I just gotta try to fly and find a way to elevate my own brain. I can't lie, no, I gotta find the way out. Yeah, look.
Hey, yo. Raised from the grind, from the dirty South streets. Yeah, I gotta fucking rise like a flame. Stay insane, brain when fucking gone. Gotta find a way to get out my fucking mind. Yeah, glitching in the matrix.
All right. So that was Rap Roulette number 4 again, featuring
GLiTCH.
And I do appreciate. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we close out the show?
Yeah, my final message would say just keep on pushing, keep on following your dreams, you know. And every time I perform on stage, I give a shout out to everybody. And I want to dedicate this podcast and this set to everybody who suffers from mental health, from depression, anxiety, bipolar, ADHD, multiple personality disorder. You know, I just want to say keep on going. And I love you with all my heart, and never give up, man. You matter, and you're a home to somebody, and somebody loves you, man. Never feel alone. Free GLiTCH, baby. Coulda Been House season 2. Check it out. And shout out iMAXX. Shout out V-Flow. Shout out Chano. Shout out Pisado Clay. Shout out Asheville, North Carolina, all the artists. And shout out South Carolina, Mexico, and the whole world, man. Peace and love to the universe.
And where can people find you one more time? What's your IG? What's your YouTube and Facebook?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Freed_GLiTCH_official. It's FREED GLiTCH, GLiTCH. Look me up on YouTube, SoundCloud, the same way. Twitch, streams coming soon. Free GLiTCH on Twitch. And yeah, check my YouTube out. It's Free GLiTCH as well. Man, find me on Facebook. It's Alex Freed GLiTCH. But yeah, shout out everybody, man. I'm on Spotify as well, Free GLiTCH. New music, new content coming soon. Love you guys.
All right, man. Well, I do appreciate you coming on the iMAXX podcast.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Much love to you, bro. Thank you for having me, man. Shout out iMAXX.
Yeah.
The iMAXX Podcast.